our great country yet greater by making it a developed economy by 2047. Also has the mission of making it a 5 trillion economy. And our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Nitish Kumarji, who's also the chairman of our institution, has been working very sincerely towards transforming the healthcare segment, particularly with reference to Bihar. I'm delighted to share that CIMP has been nominated as Lead Knowledge Institute of NITI Ayog. We are working very closely with NITI Ayog towards accomplishing the envisioned goals of Viksit Bihar 2047. Let me also place on record my thanks and gratitude to Prof.Dr Rana Singh, Principal, Nalanda Medical College and Hospital, Patna, Prof.Dr Poonam Prasad Badani ji, Dean Academics, AIMS, Patna, Dr. Satyajit Kumar Singh, Managing Director, Ruben Group of Hospitals in Absentia, Dr. Anil Kumar, Zonal Director, Paris Hospital, my esteemed colleague, Kumar Kumarji, Chair of Bihar Chapter, PhD CCI, CEO CIMP, and CEO CIMP BIF, Shri Sanjay Kumarji, Founding Director, Strategic Trainers and Mentors Association, come Senior Faculty, Pram Kumaris. My heartfelt thanks to all of you for being here and sharing your thoughts. It's indeed a great moment for all of us. We are at the forefront of the development trajectory, and healthcare plays a very important role. We being the most populous country of the world with almost 17.79% of the global population, close to around 17.79% of the global population. Healthcare plays a very important role, and I'm sure the central government has been doing tremendous amount of work. We have been doing National Health Survey 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We as CIMP, we are working closely with NITI Ayog to do impact evaluation of the various schemes of the central government in general and Ayushman Bharat in particular, with particular reference to the healthcare domain. I was delighted to listen to my previous speaker. He actually was talking about the Ashtanga Yoga. I have been practicing it in letter and spirit for the last 49 years. And let me place on record my initial feelings when my father used to wake me up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock at night. So I used to think probably my father is the toughest father of the world. But later on, when I became gold medalist of my batch, I realized yoga played a phenomenal role in strengthening the physical and mental health, but also in terms of strengthening the memory. And while you're putting the answers in your answer sheet, the recuperation power of the brain also goes up phenomenally, especially people who practice yoga, meditation, pranayam, vyayam, etc. So Ashtanga Yoga, the first book I read way back, it was around 83, 84 when I was 9 years old. And I still treasure that book with me. So US has started implementing the focus on healthcare by having course on lifestyle management, health and wellness management. We are still long way to go to incorporate it as part of our curriculum. Let me place on record my sincere thanks to our state government, which has focused on strengthening the healthcare segment by starting healthcare university right next to us, just few meters away from us, focusing on opening more and more hospitals and medical colleges under the public-private partnership mode. A stricter sense of compliance, especially for the central laws and the safety of the doctors at the workplace to avoid any violence for the doctors. And it is the right time for us to focus on lifestyle management. And many of us, I'll share with you, there is an app especially which can help us in measuring our heart rate. In English, there's a beautiful line which says, if you do not track something, it will go out of track. I repeat, if you do not track something, it will go out of track. So it's important for all of us as worthy citizens of the economy to track our heart rate. We do not know, sometimes if something is very tasty, we eat too much and we are unaware of the fact that in the process of eating too much, our heart rate has crossed 100, 120, sometimes 140 also. So it's important to keep track of our heart rate, and we have the smartphones today. We can keep track of our heart rate and advise others not to take excessive diet. That's the root cause of multiple problems. Gut is the source of multiple root causes of the other problems. So it's important to ensure that till our heart rate comes to 72, we may avoid the next diet. We may ensure Ashtanga yoga in letter and spirit. So I was just telling about my father when he used to wake me up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock at night. I used to think he's the toughest father of the world. But later on I realized the power of yoga is phenomenal. It not just keeps us physically fit, mentally agile, but it strengthens our thought process, thinking ability, analytical ability, critical solutions to various problems. So here is the time for us to understand. We can leverage and we can sensitize others to use small apps like Google Fit. It gives us a recommendation from American Heart Association. It gives a recommendation that to remain fit, we must walk for at least 30 minutes every day. We must do certain aerobic exercises and earn certain heart points. So minimum 150 heart points is recommended for a week. So all of us, we must think of acquiring at least 150 heart points a week and 10,000 steps a day to walk on a daily basis to keep ourselves healthy. And it's time for us to understand when we are in the healthcare sector, we have to think about qualitative and quantitative growth. I'm sure government is talking about quantitative growth. In the mission to make more and more money, the private hospitals are increasing their branches across the country. Government is ensuring the reach to the far-flung areas, rural and semi-urban areas. It's time for us to understand how do we ensure the quality of healthcare delivery. And I'm sure we have multiple labs coming, multiple accreditation bodies coming in the country. I had the pleasure and privilege of working with Gulf Medical University, one of big universities in UAE. We had students coming from 35 countries, faculty colleagues from 35 countries. We had almost more than a dozen hospitals and a state-of-the-art pathological lab with an investment of $20 million some 10 years back. And we ensured that we took accreditation from international accreditation body like JCI, which is the supreme body especially for granting accreditation in the domain of hospitals. We took the accreditation of CAP, College of American Pathologists, for the laboratory, pathological laboratory, and it took us almost 1 year of consistent results. Now, the best way, if you want to get an accreditation from CAP, you have to make sure that every test which you do, you have to share the samples with other accredited hospitals, and the results of the aspiring lab should not be beyond plus minus 5% of the results of the other accredited labs. And you have to show this performance for 1 year before you get the accreditation. So for qualitative enhancement and for quality assurance, it is important to catch up and match up with the best of the high quality hospitals and labs of the world. So benchmarking is a phenomenal mechanism. We have to benchmark our output and performance with some of the best hospitals of the world. And I was Director Quality Assurance, so by that virtue, I had the opportunity to learn a lot about all the subjects coming from the medical science, anatomy, biology, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry. So I was reading all your subjects from the domain of medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, allied health, graduate studies, toxicology, clinical pathology, because I had to see whether the faculty members are what they are delivering in the class is matching international standards in terms of content, coverage, level, and practice. In the process, I had immense learning experience, especially from your domain, when it comes to dentistry, orthodontics, endodontics, prosthodontics, all kinds of dentistry subjects. When it came to pharmacy, especially pharmacoeconomics, all the subjects, how we are doing drug dosage calculations, understanding. So we are in the era of multidisciplinary clinical delivery. We have to, like if there is a cardiac surgeon, he has to consult which drugs were given so that he can understand how the rhythm will get affected, and so on and so forth. So it's time for us to understand, we as a country, we as a state, we need to understand some of the best practices of the best hospitals and labs of the world. Understand India and Bihar has been producing some of the world-class manpower in the domain of healthcare. Time is right for us to have more and more professionals, not just doctors, but healthcare management professionals also, who can bring all the associated, stakeholders together to ensure best quality output in form of healthcare delivery. So it's time for us to understand the assessment of requirement of especially healthcare management professionals, also professionals in health and wellness domain. We have very few courses, rather programs in the country, particularly with special reference to health and wellness. Time is right for us, the universities, to have more and more programs in the health and wellness domain, in the domain of lifestyle management, and focus on the best quality delivery by matching international standards. Particularly, I'm sure many of you would have been studying about. We talk about IPSG. IPSG, anyone who can share his thoughts or thoughts? IPSG. We talk about International Patient Safety Goals, which is one of the important dimensions, especially for the JCI accreditation process. I'll give you a small example so that you can understand. We prepared 400 standard operating procedures, 400 SOPs to match the quality of academic delivery as well as the delivery of healthcare vis-a-vis some of the best hospitals of the world, particularly US, Australia, Europe, and for that matter, other developed economies of the world. So we prepared 400 standard operating procedures. We ensured its stricto sensu compliance in letter and spirit, proper reporting online so that anyone can see whether the healthcare or the clinical care, clinical research, all the processes have been delivered, matching international norms, standards, and the outcomes have been achieved in the right manner, in the right direction, in compliance to all these standard operating procedures. So with these words, I'm sure all of you are very learned in the domain. I am absolutely a zero in the healthcare domain, but by the virtue of being very close to the domain of healthcare, I was blessed to have invested 5 years with the foreign medicine, and 5 years I also had the opportunity to learn about, because I was running an Ayurveda college approved by Ayush. So I learned about Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, because we were running all the 3 colleges in our university where I was serving as Vice Chancellor. And I'm a passionate student, so whenever I get some new books, I jump onto it and start reading more about Charak Samhita and all the Hindi words. Now, how many of you can tell what is Shalya Chikitsa?
Surgery.
Very good. And Kaya Chikitsa? Kaya Chikitsa. It is pertaining to skin. So all the subjects in the Ayurveda were in Hindi, and it was a great pleasure to learn. So what I would suggest, to imbibe the spirit of lifelong learning. Sometimes we think we are experts in our domain. I'm still very fascinated to read more and more about the healthcare domain and to sensitize others how to manage our personal health in the best possible way, how to keep the blood pressure and sugar in control, how to remain happy and keep others happier. With this word, I wish you all a happy new year 2026 in advance, and I wish you great success in your healthcare career. And we would look forward to learn from you what we can do collaboratively as a management institution, particularly in the healthcare management domain. We will be open towards having some collaborative arrangements, agreements, and some interventions which we can bring towards enhanced level of accreditation, better quality assurance, better maximization both in terms of your growth trajectory, your quality assurance dimension, as well as in terms of strengthening your benchmarking process with international players. With these words, I wish you great success and great health, great luck. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bihar. And my apologies for being late.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your vision and experience for Bihar's and India's future. Thank you so much.